So now a few best practices to know about on Facebook. And again, most of us are probably coming from the realm of using the platform for personal usage, as we've stated before. So you're used to engaging with friends, commenting, liking, probably using short terminology or SMS terminology like LOL or L8R on some of your posts. But one thing we want to learn to do when you're finally publishing a company page is that there's some different rules of etiquette. So obviously you do not want to publish a status update on a business page every hour like you would on your personal profile. Again, your personal profile, it's your business, and of course friends are opting in to be friends with you, and that's part of the nature of the game. But in terms of business status updates, you want to limit it to no more than 4 a day. And again, this is based on the Facebook algorithm. So it actually is only going to end up, your status updates are only going to end up in your user's news feed a certain time anyhow. So the more you publish, the less chance they actually have of seeing it. So you want to space out when you publish. Do some during the morning and obviously in the afternoon and some in the evening, so that your fans have a chance to see content. Also, in terms of actual rules on your community, a lot of companies have been posting this for quite some time. They sort of have a house rules section which explains what they want to encourage within that community. So if you're working with a larger brand, or your business gets over 1,000 people on it, it's very good to actually post what you want your house rules to be. In this case with Fanta, they have things that are a little more in depth, but again, you can choose the language you want, and it could be something as simple as, we respect everyone's opinion here, we want everyone to have a good time, and we moderate our own page and community, and we don't want any trouble. You can always make it fun. It doesn't have to be 100% legal. And again, these are rules that you as a community manager and an owner of the page devise, so that you can make the experience as fun as possible. Now, a couple other things to remember in terms of some best practices. So we'll go to a page for a small business based in Charleston, South Carolina, called Integrative Health and Wellness. One of the things that's really important is making sure that you actually fill out the page itself. So make sure that you post all the info that you want about your business, so that people can actually find out information about it. So if they're clicking on the info tab, it's not taking them to an area where there isn't any information for them to find out about. So obviously in this case, there's a description of the organization, the address, a phone number. They've put in their information, so it's pulled up on Bing GPS. Their likes and interests, so you sort of have an idea, or people who want to come to your business know who you are. And that's a very important part of, in terms of best practices, in terms of setting up your page. But the other thing also to do is to make sure you have some nice rich content, and that's in the form of photos. Make sure you publish photos so that they actually show up on the page itself. The other important thing about photos is a way to take advantage of the Facebook algorithm is most text status updates have less of a chance ending up in a user's newsfeed than those that contain photos. And again, this is something that I think Mark Zuckerberg, the founder, sort of was involved in. Who doesn't want to see a photo? The algorithm sort of cheats the system so that photos show up in the newsfeed, because that is content that is going to be seen and shared by more, and also it allows people to just engage and interact. So photos are a really important part of best practices in terms of making sure you have them on your page, but also that you use them in your status updates. Video is another thing that's really important. So if you do have video content, you should definitely use it. But then also the cadence of your page is really important. And this is where I think a lot of companies miss out in terms of best practices. They have a tendency of just sort of publishing a variety of information, and they don't really sort of set a tone or a theme to what they're doing. And again, we'll get into this on a future lecture, but a content calendar is going to be a very important part to making sure you follow this best practice. And that is actually setting a cadence for, on this particular day of the week, we're going to post this type of information about my business. And then on the next day, we're going to post a promotion. And then the following day, we're going to post an equity post, something that doesn't mention my business, but more of the subject category of what my business is in, so that people realize that I can talk about more than just my business, but the category that my business is involved in. So again, a cadence, a content calendar, sort of creating a theme, and a tone of voice is very, very important. These are all part of best practices, because how we speak on Facebook in terms of brands with followers is a very, very important part of the platform, and it allows your business to actually to grow. So in terms of best practices, just to go over once again, make sure you upload photos so that you have a nice look and feel to your page, as you can see here on IBM for Mid-Sized Businesses, or the Integrative Health and Wellness page, or on the Fanta page. And also, if you build out some tabs, some people like to sort of build out landing tabs. Make sure those are actually welcoming and engaging to those who come to the page for the first time. Again, not necessary, but it's almost like a greeting. You like to enter the house that sort of has that nice entryway. The same thing on Facebook. Everyone always goes to your page first to like it and engage there. And then, of course, later on, as we had stated in earlier statistics, about 89% of people never really revisit your page. They do most of that engagement through the news feed, but at the same time, you still want the property to look well maintained. So make sure you practice good maintenance, good etiquette, a nice tone of voice, and be ready to enjoy some nice engagement on the platform.